You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present, so the content is killer. Enjoy the show. Welcome into the Live Collective Genius podcast. We are here in Dallas, Texas at the CG Select and Elevate events. We're having some fun here. We just had our second speaker of the day go on stage. Longtime member now, Dustin Singer from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome in, my friend. How are you?
Good, Leon. Thank you.
How you feel after that presentation? I didn't expect that you wouldn't be calm, but you were super chill and super calm on that stage. Were you thinking that that would be the case?
I was, to be honest.
All right.
I thought that I'd be a little bit nervous, like the first walking up and then the first couple words, but and I was, but then it's hard to mess up your own story. You know what I mean?
To follow, even if it is your own story, to follow a keynote, someone that's paid professionally to do this, to follow that person and go up second, I mean, you had a lot of pressure on yourself, but you delivered the goods, my friend. One thing I've said about our select level, these are the people that are the next wave of real estate entrepreneurs. They're already doing the business at a high level, but they're the next wave of leaders in this industry. You're a pilot, and your whole presentation was about your flight plan and the analogy, you analogized it to your business, your personal, growing leaders. Give the viewers and the listeners here just a summary of what the presentation was about.
Yeah, pretty much I wanted to make the comparison that there was many things that I've done in my life that I already had the answers in front of me, but I wasn't applying them to the areas that I needed to apply them in. And I just, took the same things that I've heard from here and flight training, and we made those changes this year, and it made a significant impact.
What I noticed is that you saved the numbers that most of that room wanted to see. Dustin, get to it. Right? Tell me exactly how all of this flight plan and the changes that you've made in your life where did it get you in your business? Your net profit, your gross profit, all the numbers that everyone's net worth. You saved that to the end. I'm so glad you did because it paid off for sure. Tell me, when did this, you've lost 50 pounds, your body fat went from almost 29% to 12%. I wrote these numbers down, you can see. It was important for me to see that. Like, I couldn't write them down fast enough because you made so many drastic changes in your life. What started that?
Here.
Okay. Specifically what?
I think I, last January it was actually. So the January meeting, Jeremiah had presented on health transformations he made in his life. And at that time, I was a little depressed. I was depressed with myself. I was depressed with my business. I was a little bit depressed at home, and I just wasn't happy how everything was going. And he did a presentation on all the changes that he had made in his personal life. And his was more on the health and fitness side, but he started to mention how they had drastic changes into other areas. And I left CG and hired a personal trainer literally the next week.
Your words, I was lazy. I was ready to quit. I was unmotivated, undisciplined, lacking purpose. Man, those are strong words for an entrepreneur, which I know there are people right now that are watching this or listening to this that are in that rut right now. Outside of seeing a presentation like you did, this opportunity right now, what would you say to those individuals that are in this space, that are entrepreneurs, that are saying all those type of things? How do they take action right now? What should they do?
I think for me personally, what got me started wasn't necessarily what was going to keep me going. So when I first started my business, there's the HGTV and the excitement of flipping houses and all these things. And as you start to level up, you realize there's a lot more to it. And I have to do a ton of internal work to actually grow an organization. How am I ever going to do that? And that kind of became the catalyst for man, I need to make some serious changes in my life.
We say at this level of CG Select, the goal is to take real estate investors to real estate business owners. There's a difference, and that's what you're speaking to. Here's what I loved is you led yourself first. And then as you led yourself, you started to notice or take it very serious about growing other leaders, specifically on your team. And this is a transformation of your business now. You've gone from lazy and ready to quit and unmotivated and all those words and adjectives that we used earlier to now I'm going to focus on growing myself and also growing my team and give them, help them achieve their goals. And at the end, you were talking about creating many leaders that are leading without you, like they're leading right now. How far into this did you say, all right, I'm making these transformations. It's time for me to do the same thing in business and with my team? Did you know that this was going to lead to this? All right, I'm going to lead myself and then?
I see. So more in theoretical knowledge,
Okay.
right?
All right.
People talk about it, but until it actually comes into fruition in your own life, no, it still kind of caught me back a little bit. It's like I had went out and sought A players to build our team and surround myself with, and kind of all the promises that are made in the business groups and in the books and all these things, they started to come true.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really hit you until it actually happens.
Right. You covered the entire, it was a whole metaphor presentation about your flight plan. You're a pilot. Obviously, you learn how to fly. In fact, oftentimes you're flying from Pittsburgh to Florida to our events, which is really cool to see. Will you walk people through how that was a perfect analogy for your business growth?
Yeah. So, obviously with flying an airplane, it's a very much life and death type situation. And, what is the model that people use to train pilots? And it's a lot of the same key business principles where you have to have a plan, you have to have the proper training, you have to know what gauges or metrics to look at. You have checklists to run as systems and processes, and then you have emergency procedures if things go, bad. And that's kind of how you execute all those things into successful takeoffs and successful landings. And it's really no different with business where, we have all these tools and processes and things that we're supposed to do. When we don't apply them, we kind of get the results that
exactly
we
right.
should expect.
Well, I think that there's a couple things that you referenced in this presentation and also during this conversation. You relied on others as well to help you through this. This wasn't just you as the pilot fixing everything and trying to fix everything. When you realized that you had a problem with, what did you say? You said you scanned your instruments and you realized that you needed some help with that. You brought in other resources from CG. You started this transformation from a presentation of a CG member. When you're going through this, like for those that are watching this and listening to this, when you're going through this change, how crucial is it to have those resources that are available to you where you don't have to guess?
Number one, it's a lot less work when someone ahead of you on the path has already paved the way. That's probably the simplest way to put it. But you know what? There's nothing more to say other than that.
I'm just going to say that's a great summary, a great answer. Is there anything that you're looking forward to? Now, you've delivered a great presentation, gave a lot of value. Is there anything that you're looking to accomplish? You've already, accomplished a lot with this transformation from the business standpoint, from your health standpoint. What are you looking now to gain from this meeting for the next couple of days?
I think the main thing is just kind of carrying the momentum that we built this year, which has been the toughest real estate market of my entire career. And we've still been successful. How do I continue to keep that momentum going into next year and then years beyond? How do I keep growing what it is that we started to build this year?
You're a fix and flipper. So when you're putting properties on the market in Pittsburgh, what does that market look like right now? Is this days on market have gone up? We've heard this across the nation. Just Speak to that real quick.
Yeah. So, days on market up. We're now finding that comparables mean a lot less, and we're having a comp, mostly on active inventory at this point. And underwriting has completely changed with now we're basing our numbers on way more conservative things, where for anyone that did it during COVID era, you could buy the worst deal on the planet and still make money. And that's not the case anymore.
That's right. You no longer are this. You now have to be the star. The market is no longer the star.
Yeah.
My favorite quote that you gave to summarize this great presentation. If you don't take anything else away from this podcast, take this away. You had the Zig Ziglar quote. This was a whole transformation presentation about your business, about you, about everything. I think this is super crucial for those that are listening to this, that are looking to continue to grow and scale as a person, but also your business. You used the Zig Ziglar quote of, you don't build a business, you build people, and people build a business. It's one of those quotes where when I saw it, I've seen that quote before from Zig, but for whatever reason today, it hit me harder. And it hit me harder because we spent all this time, and I want you to speak to this. We spent all this time trying to measure KPIs and the right KPIs and all these things. And you made a focus. Obviously, those are important to the business, but you made a conscious effort to build up people. What does that mean? What does that mean to them and to you to see them lead now because you've poured into them?
It was funny because when we were doing the exercise with the keynote, he was asking like what the most recent impactful business experience you had was. And I gave an example of my operations manager. I was teaching her about crucial conversations, and we needed to have one with one of the lead managers. And I'm like, hey, you're kind of prepped for this. What do you think about executing on it? And she just gave the most flawless, crucial conversation. She was so excited to tell me about it. And she was so thankful that I had helped her implement in this life. And that impact just means so much more than numbers on a dashboard.
I'm looking at a completely different person, not just physically, you were a good operator when you came into this group. Obviously, you hit a tough patch, but super proud of you, man. This takes work. This isn't easy. I think everybody thinks that they see people being really successful and they automatically assume that it's an overnight success. This takes work. This didn't happen overnight. You said this started in January. Here we are in October. Your business has been significantly affected, and obviously you've significantly changed people's lives. So congratulations to you, and thank you for not only being on the show with us today, but also delivering just a great present. You inspired someone up there today. I promise you, what Jeremiah did for you in January, you did for somebody else today. Paying it forward. Thank you.
Love that.
Appreciate it. All right. So if you would love to be in the room with someone like Dustin, and I promise you this, you want to be in a room with a guy like this for so many good reasons. The easiest way to check us out, find out more information about the Collective Genius is at our website, explorecg.com. There you'll find all the information that you need to get in a room with a guy like Dustin Singer. Dustin, thank you so much again. We'll see you throughout the day. We're here live at our Q3 event for CG Select and Elevate in Dallas, Texas. We will see you on the next live Collective Genius podcast.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit thecollectivegenius.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening.